Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel, guys. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Avery Arden. Nice to meet you. In the last episode, we worked here in the Nether to build an amazing blaze farm, as you can see here behind me. The interior of it is not done, clearly, but the farm itself is working. We will be coming back to this farm to work on the interior and the surrounding area, like the texturing of the floor and everything, in an upcoming episode. But for now, I need a break from the Nether after the stressful time I had here working to build this place up. The plan for today's episode is to return to our custom village project here. You know, to be honest, I feel like I've been slacking. That's the word. I feel like I've been slacking when it comes to building up our custom village here. This is like our starter project for this world, and I'm so far behind. Really? Anyway, I'm so far behind on this village. I literally only have one structure built, which is the entrance. And there's a lot of work to be done in this area if I plan to create a big custom valley with, like, I don't want to call them mountains because I don't want them to be that big, but, like, you know, some hills that our custom village and our custom forest is tucked in. So there's a lot of work to be done. And before I could even begin trying to figure out where the valley walls are going to go, I need to kind of figure out where all of the buildings are going to go so I can make sure that I'm not, you know, building the valley walls in the, you know, in the way of my buildings. So I want to get back to this project today. We're really going to pump this project into high gear, let me tell you. Oh, this rain is so annoying. So today I'm going to do a lot of building. I want to really get started on this village, so to make up for lost time, basically. So I think what we're going to work on is I want to work on the right side of the village. For when you come in, it's going to be to the right. So I think what I'm going to do is build maybe 3 or 4 buildings for the village today, and I'm thinking we're gonna have one here, we're going to have one across the street from it right here somewhere, one here, and then I kind of want, possibly if I have time, to work on the village inn, which is going to stand like directly center here when you first walk in. Because my plan is you're going to walk in, there's going to be a village inn, and then like a circular pathway in the middle with trees in the middle of it. And then all the roads kind of branching off from that. So I'm definitely going to work on two or three buildings on this side. And then if I can get to it today, then the village inn as well, which is a pretty big build. It's not massive like the Blaze Temple, but it's a pretty good size. But in order to do all of this building that I want to do today, I am in need of some supplies. I have some of the stuff that's needed, some of the materials, but I am either missing or am short on many of the others. So let me get to collecting some of this stuff, and then we will jump right into the building. I started by chopping some spruce trees. These builds require a lot of spruce, and I can never seem to keep enough of it in stock. I go through it so quickly. And after making a quick stop at my double spawner farm to repair my axe, I was able to gather plenty of spruce for today's project. I was also running low on moss, so I bone milled some of that around and collected a bit to use on our roofs later. Speaking of roofs, I also sheared some oak leaves to use on them later as well. We are building in what will eventually be a forest after all. And after all that, I now have these chests set up just outside the village gatehouse, ready to go. With the resource gathering out of the way, let's get to work on today's first build. So starting off with this first build, my build palette is going to be obviously lots of spruce, both regular spruce and stripped spruce, along with our common stone palette that we're using for this area, which is cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, tough, and deep slate, cobble deep slate to be exact. The theme of this build will be books. As you can clearly see, you will notice me putting down a lot of books in this build, as that is kind of what I'm going for here. This was a really fun build to design. I had never really done a building quite like this, where its primary feature is like a display coming through the windows, which is the feature for this build. It's the windows and the books behind them. So it was really interesting, especially the inside. Once I get around to that, it was actually really fun to work on. All right. So we have the bookshop. Did I mention that I was building a bookstore? I don't actually know if I mentioned what I was building here. But yeah, we built a bookshop here. So this is the village bookstore. As you can see, it's meant to, um, sell books. That's what it's supposed to do. So it has, I don't know if you've ever seen like those bookshops in like certain cities. I know they have them in like New York, in like London. I think they're popular, where they have like big windows in the front of them, and you just see like tons of books on display in the windows. That's kind of the vibe I was going for with this. Just you know, I wanted to make sure that the villagers, as they're walking by, and visitors to the village of Bree, when they're coming to see what kind of goods they can buy here in the village, I want them to know books. Know what I mean? So yeah, this is kind of what we're working with, continuing with our theme of the overgrown village. So lots of leaves and stuff, and mossy rooftops and whatnot. So lots of books in the windows all the way around. Lots of books on display. There's a big window that goes inside here, and just it's a bookshop. And yes, I did the entire interior, because why? We do interiors on this channel. Because I don't believe in making builds and just leaving them hollow shell. If I'm building something, you can rest assured it's going to have an interior, one way or another. Let's go ahead and take a look. So I want it to feel very crowded, just with books. Like it's a very small shop that is just jam-packed with books to the ceiling. So it's just like very, what it kind of reminds me of, and I didn't even think about this when I was building it, until just now, actually. Kind of reminds me of, in one of the earlier Harry Potter movies, I want to say it was the second one, maybe? They go to the bookshop in Diagon Alley, like to buy, school books. And it kind of gives this type of vibe. Like it's just books piled everywhere and like small and crowded. That's kind of the vibe this is giving, and I didn't do that on purpose. I just realized it just now, actually. But yeah, it's just lots of books. So this is where he would, stand to sell his books. Oh, and I didn't even tell you who runs this shop. It is, bam, Benny. Benny's Book Bonanza. That's what I named it at the moment. Benny is the shopkeeper of this. He's not in here. Eventually, I do want to put a villager in here who will be Benny, but I don't have that quite yet. But yeah, I'm not quite, Benny is his name, but I'm not quite set on Book Bonanza, like the name of the actual shop. That's just temporary, probably. I don't know. If you guys actually have any ideas for what to call this shop, let me know, because I'm down to change it if something tickles my fancy. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's our newest build to the village, build 1 for today, and it's our bookshop. So I now want to turn our attention right here, directly across from us. It's going to be across the street from the bookstore. Somewhere, how far do I want it to be? Probably somewhere right around here will be my next build. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. Hey, I have a quick question for you. Have you subscribed? If not, why not? Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you can never miss a video. We have a ton of exciting things coming up in this series, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. So for this one, I really had a very specific look in mind. I wanted it to feel very welcoming and very like homey. Yo, what up, homie? Not homie, homely. You know what I mean? Like very welcoming and kind of give off like a home type of warm vibe. So people like want to come into it. It's not a house, but it has kind of that vibe a little bit. And that's really what I was going for. I wanted it to feel welcoming. And this is kind of like the focal point of the village, kind of like social life, pretty much. Like this is where the villagers and also visitors to the village would pretty much hang out. They would congregate here and enjoy themselves. They would gossip and talk and, all that kind of stuff. And this is where that would take place. So that's kind of the vibe I had in mind while building this. And this build does have a like front porch with like a seating area as well, just to kind of go along with that vibe. And before any of you mention, oh, Avery, you're using the same build palette, I'm starting to notice a pattern here. Well, yes, you are, and that is intentional. I'm doing that on purpose. The build palette for most of this village is probably going to stick around the same type of blocks that I've been using, mostly because the lore of this village it's like I've said many times, it's going to be tucked within a forest, within a valley. So it's like a protected village due to the valley around it. So, and the lore of my whole world that I'm building here involves a big war that took place, which I'll get into that later on in the series. And this village remained neutral. They did not take sides in the war. And they were therefore cut off by many of the factions who were fighting each other during the war. So, and due to them being a fully self-sustaining village, they were perfectly fine after being cut off. They pretty much used what they had and didn't have to rely on imports from anywhere else in the world. Alrighty, guys. So we got the tavern complete. Oh, did I mention this was a tavern? I don't think I mentioned what I was building here. So this is a tavern. As you can see, here on this sign, Jirian is the owner of this tavern. This is Jirian's Tavern. I like it. It turned out pretty much how I wanted it to turn out. I think this is what we're working with. It's pretty homey looking, kind of. We got a wonky little chimney coming off the side. And then there's like a little porch area with some seating for people who want to sit outside. Also, when I do the outside area and add the trees and everything, I'm thinking I'm going to have like an outdoor seating area right here as well. And I might even put some seats and tables like here in the front. I'm not quite sure yet. But let's check out inside because, of course, I did the interior. So we used some dried kelp blocks for a floor design because I actually really like using these blocks. I just really like the way they look. And I feel like not enough people use these in building. So this is what we're working with. It's a tavern. So this is kind of like a hybrid thing. It's like a tavern, but also kind of like a restaurant. So they do food here as well as drinks. But drinks are mainly what they're known for, but they do also do food. So we got like the bar over here. And then over here we have like seating areas around the fireplace. I may end up changing out these table designs for something else because look. If you get a little too close, it just automatically, I'm not even on top of it, but it still clicks it. I hate that. I hate that. But yeah, this is what we're working with. We have a high ceiling, which I like. And then because it's a restaurant, they needed a kitchen. So if you come down here behind the bar, they have their kitchen area. So this is where they make their food and their drinks as well. They got some extra kegs of drink here. Right here we have their little sink. And then these are like some cloth towel thingies for them to dry their hands on. And it's simple. And then over here is kind of like their break area. So if they are taking a break, the workers here, they have somewhere that they can sit and take their break comfortably in peace. Yeah. So that's what we got going on here in Jirian's Tavern. I like it. I'm very happy, very pleased. And now we turn our attention to building number 3, which is going to go right here at the end of this road between these two buildings. So let's go ahead and knock that out of the park. You guys, something tragic happened to Cheyenne. Look at him. Look at him. What happened? He was so red and vibrant and beautiful, and now he's all brown. He looks like he's been rolling around in mud. What the heck? He's not cute anymore. He was so cute. Listen, I didn't even know there were brown mushrooms in Minecraft. I'd never seen one. I literally did not know this was a thing. And then I came over here and I looked at him and he was brown. Like, what? Imagine my confusion. I Googled it to like figure out why did he turn brown, and apparently if a mushroom is struck by lightning, they turn into this. Cheyenne was struck by lightning! Lightning! My poor little guy, he must be so traumatized. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know. There has been quite a few thunderstorms, but I didn't even I didn't even know this was a thing. He was ruined. He was so pretty and vibrant. My very first pet has been ruined. I thought about going back to the Mushroom Island and getting a new one. Another red one. But then I was like, no, I can't do that to poor Cheyenne. Are you kidding me? I can't just replace him. He's such a sweet little guy. I can't. He may look horrible now, but you know, he has a beautiful heart. That's what truly matters. But due to his trauma of surviving a lightning strike, I feel like it's time to give this little guy a house. So let's get on that. I cannot believe that happened. I'm still in shock. I don't even know what to say about it. Anyway, so we here are just kind of, fixing up the little cave that I showed you guys in a past episode that I was going to fix up for Cheyenne to make him his own little home. So that's what we're doing here, and I'm just kind of sprucing it up. I'm not really making too many drastic changes to it, just kind of sprucing it up, texturing it a bit. That's pretty much it. All right, so this is going to be Cheyenne's little home here. His nice little lush little cave dwelling area. Got some nice flowers, a little muddy part back here for him to roll around in, some hay for him to munch on. Got his little watering hole here. The only thing I need to do is I hate torches, so I need to just add, a lantern or two. I just need to figure out where. I think I'll put... I actually don't know if I need chains. I'm gonna put one lantern there, I think. That works. Then put one back here. Somewhere. I think I'm just honestly gonna hang it right there. And then if I get rid of this, okay, that works. This and this. Is that still too dark? Oh, I think that works. Nice. Look at my poor little guy, once red and vibrant, now dull and brown. Oh, he's been through so much. I cannot believe he was struck by lightning. Like, I cannot believe it. I did not even know this was a thing. I had never, ever, ever heard about this before. Oh, poor guy. He's been through so much. All right, come on. Why are you giving me a hard time? Get up here. Come on. Right over here to your new home. Come on. Hello? Come on. I think when he got struck by lightning, it like wobbled his brain a bit because he's acting funky. Come on. Look at his eyes. They're so black. He's even lost the little sparkle he once had in his eyes. Oh, it's too sad. I cannot believe it. I'm so sorry. I should have moved him in. I should have made his home and moved him in so much sooner, and he would have never been struck by lightning. He would have been in the safety of his little cave. Poor guy. Oh my gosh. I was shook when where'd he go? Oh my god, he blended in with the dirt. Wow, how embarrassing. I think he likes it. He looks happy, no? I think he's happy. I'm just gonna assume he's happy. All right, now that we got Cheyenne moved into his new humble abode and taken care of, let's get back to our village, shall we? All right, so for building number 3 here, I'm going to be honest. I struggled. It was a struggle for me to get through building this. I had to take multiple breaks and keep coming back to it, only because at this point, I was kind of like worn out with the building. Like, I love it, but at the same time, it was a lot. So it was a struggle to get through this. And I was also finding it difficult to really bring my vision that I had for this to life when I was designing this one. It's not a seriously complicated building. It's just, I had a specific vision for it. And for some reason, when I was designing it, it just did not meet the standard of what I saw in my head. So it was a struggle both in designing and building. But in the end, I think it turned out to be something that I actually really, really like. And this building, as you can see, does have a side patio porch area with that stone bit off to the right. That is not to hang out at. That is a kind of like a work zone. I will get more into that when I give you the tour of the place once we are finished here. But I think it turned out good. I'm happy with it. Also with this building, because I was having such a hard time with it and I was suffering from a little bit of builder's fatigue at this point, I kind of left out most of the actual small details of the building. I didn't go through and add any of that until the very end, once the actual foundation and shell of the build was complete. Then I went in and added the windows and the buttons and the signs and the trapdoors, all that kind of stuff. I didn't build the chimneys or anything until the very end, so I don't know. You may notice later on that there were like holes on the side. That's for the chimneys and whatnot, which I add at the end. And it really seems like with each building, they just get bigger than the last. I started with the smaller bookshop, then the tavern got bigger than that one, and then this building got bigger than the tavern. So I seem to see a trend here of every building being bigger than the last. This is that little work zone I mentioned, and I'm just kind of adding a little privacy screen here for him to be able to do his work behind without people seeing what's going on back there. And seeing as how this is a butcher shop / meat shop, we needed a place for the owner to keep his cattle. So here I am just kind of making some animal pins. They're very simple. They're just made of some cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, and I think I threw some andesite up in there as well. And then I added 4 of them, one for cows, chickens, pigs, and sheep, which is the type of meat that he sells in his shop. And then I just kind of built some little coverings inside of them to give the animals some shelter if it happens to rain or if they want to get out of the sun, anything like that. All right. We have finished up with the butcher shop here behind me. This is, as you can see from this sign, Ludian's Prime Meats is what I'm currently calling it. That could change. If you guys have a better name idea for that, by all means, let me know. But the owner of this establishment, his name is Ludian, and I'm just calling it Ludian's Prime Meats for the moment. So let's just take a step back and just take it all in. It's kind of a 2-in-1 shop, but it's mainly a butcher shop. It has 3 floors, actually. So, just has some steak up here. It's like a little sign type of thing. Let's go ahead and start over here first, though. This is Bree's Best Spices and Herbs, because it's the Village of Bree. And this is like a little herb shop. So to go along with your, seasoning. Wow, Avery. I listen, I don't know how to cook, okay? To go with seasoning your food. So this is like, I'm going to have a little villager in here, and this is their little shop. And these are all just supposed to be a bunch of different types of seasonings that you would buy and be able to use for your food preparation. Freshness guaranteed, of course. And the reason it's built on like a 2-in-1 is because the owner of this, and the person who grows these herbs and spices and sells them, is Ludian's wife. So this is her little shop. This is his shop. He's the butcher, and they live upstairs. So that's kind of the lore for this. It's a husband and wife, mom and pop type of business here. So before we go inside, let me just kind of walk around and show you what we got going on over here. There's like a little patio thing, which I'll get to that more once I do the inside tour. So this is the actual shop, and then over here is the entrance to their house. So they live above their shop, but this is how they get in. And I'll show you that after. And this is the farm, the animal pens, which we'll get to in a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and go in here. So the butcher shop. It's, again, nothing fancy, but it has all the types of meats you could want. Well done steak. We have pork chops, tenderized mutton, and slow-cooked chicken roast. And then over here, we have the bigger meats, which is freshly smoked beef chunks. So this is supposed to be like cooked beef, which is why it's like pink in the middle and dark on the outside. And they're kind of like on big skewers or something, ready to be bought. Yeah, so that's what that is. Over here, you just see this is where Ludian would be preparing a big beef chunk, smoking it over the fire, and the redstone is supposed to be like little drips of blood when he brought it over. I don't know. Over here, this rotten flesh I'm using as jerky, so it's smoked jerky bundles. Then these little ones are mini beef chunk bites. So it's this, just in a smaller version for easier consumption. Yeah, so this is what we got going. Custom orders for raw meat chunks now available. So that's what we got going on up here in the storefront. Back here is where he prepares it, other than the ones he smokes there. So this is like his little kitchen area. He's got some cooking utensils, his oven and his stoves. Over here is, you know, the raw meat. You know, if for any of you who have seen a butcher shop, I've never actually seen a butcher shop in real life because it would gross me out. I'm not good with that kind of stuff. But I know that this is how it's done. So, you know, it's like hanging. So this is like the raw meat before it's cooked. And there's like blood drips under it. Over here, well, let me start here first. So out here is, these are the animals. This is where he brings them from the animal pens when the ones who are next up to be butchered. So these are the next, you know, unfortunate souls who are about to feed the village people. So he brings them in here, and then when he's ready, he'll bring them in here, out here onto this patio I mentioned. And this is where he slaughters them, which is why there's blood. There's his little utensils. This is his little disposable waste disposal where he puts the little leftover bits and pieces of them. Sorry, hopefully this is not too graphic. But yeah, this is where he slaughters them. And then he had to put up this little privacy wall because people were like horrified watching him slaughter the animals. So he put up this little privacy wall so when he's doing his business, no one can see. It's, you know, hidden. So that's what's going on here. And then if you come back here is where he keeps his animals. So these are the animal pens. They're all pretty much the same except for the chicken, which has a little chicken coop. So these are the cows. We have pigs over here, sheepies there, and then over here's the chickens. And this is, like I said, these all have like a little covered area to give them some shelter. The only difference is that the chicken one has a chicken coop. And they all have like little water pins inside of them and whatnot, you know, just to go along with the lore of it. So this is where he, you know, grows and breeds and takes care of his animals. And then back here, this originally was not in the plan. I don't even think I recorded building this. So sorry about that if I didn't, because I don't think I did actually. I built these and then I took a break and then I came back and was not planning on filming or actually really doing anything. I was just kind of organizing my chest of supplies over there because it got crazy unorganized while building these 3 buildings. And then I just felt like building something really small. It actually was not supposed to be this big originally, or I would, if I knew it was going to turn out like this size, I would have recorded it. But this is like his little barn, basically. Just where he keeps like food and supplies to help take care of the animals. It's very simple. I'm just going to show you the front because it looks like this on the back as well. It just doesn't have a door. But on the inside, when I was putting hay and barrels and stuff, I decided to utilize the space. Oh my god, it's noisy. And just go ahead and like kind of sneak in 2 mini farms, kind of. So over here is a cow crusher because I am out of leather and I've been having a very hard time keeping up with my demand for leather because of all the bookshelves I've been using, plus all of the item frames. I cannot keep enough leather on me, so I decided since I have space in here, I'm going to sneak in a little cow crusher. So this is going to be my source of leather from now on. And then since I had space on this side, just for the heck of it, I didn't need this, I just decided to do it. It's a little chicken egg farm. So I just got some chickens in there, they lay their eggs, and they get collected in here. So they just kind of tuck those away in here amongst his feeding supplies and whatnot. So that's what we got going on in here. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot to show you guys the upstairs of where they live. So let's go ahead and hop into there. So here we go. This is the entrance. I will have like a path and everything here eventually. But this is the entrance into their living quarters, Ludian and his wife and their kid. They have a kid as well. So you just come up and you come into the kitchen / living room. So this is their little table area, their kitchen. I'm using these as the kitchen cabinets just because I like the look of it. What is this called? I think it's smithing tables. I think it's called smithing tables. But yeah, this is just a little kitchen. Over here, we just got a little living room area with a tiny little fireplace tucked in, a little couch and seating area. They got a big window to overlook the village. And then if you come over here, if I can stop getting stuck, this is the first bedroom. This is their kid's bedroom. So he has his little bed. He has his own private fireplace, just a miniature one. And he loves books. He's a reader, you know. This is why I need all that leather. So it's a small space. There wasn't much I could do with it. So it's just, you know, just a little itty bitty bedroom for their kid. And then their bedroom is upstairs. Right up. Oh, and I have a little window tucked here just because I don't know why. And here's their bedroom. So they have a little chairs, a little seating, reading nook by the window, their bed, and you know, once again, nothing fancy, just a simple little bedroom. I couldn't do much with this wall, in case you're wondering why there's just like stuff tucked in there and then the rest is covered. You can't really see it. That's the roof. So this is all moss. This whole wall was moss. Because that is the roof for the outside. So there was nothing I could really do with this wall. These little areas were like little nooks where there wasn't any moss. So I just shoved some barrels in there to kind of look like dressers and drawers and whatnot. So that's what that's about. But yeah, this is their bedroom. So that's building number 3 of our village project today, guys. That is the butcher and herb/spice shop. What do you guys think of it? Do you love? Do you hate? Any ideas on how to improve it? As you can give for any of these. Yeah, I'm down to hear any of your ideas or criticisms or suggestions. Now with our bookshop, butcher shop, and tavern complete, it is time to turn our attention to the big kahuna for the day and build our village inn, which is going to be centered. Maybe not quite centered, I'm not sure, but it's going to be right here as the centerpiece when you first enter the village. You're going to see it right here. It's not humongous, but it's bigger than these. But yeah, it's going to be right here. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So for this village inn, I just really wanted it to kind of loom over the entrance of the village. So it's just kind of like a relatively small, towering building that just is kind of there as the centerpiece when you first enter. Alrighty, guys, we have finished the inn right here behind me. But it's as you can see bigger than the other buildings. It's technically four floors tall. Yeah, so here at the front we just have another little sign with bed showing it's an inn, and it says Bree Inn, and it's just kind of, I don't know, it's an inn. But yeah, so this is just kind of what we got going on. I like the inside. Let me show you the inside. So this is the lobby that you enter. And we just have some seating areas with tables and, you know, little books for people to read. And this is like the reception desk. I do plan to have like 2 villagers back here. I think what I'm going to have to do is take out this floor right here, probably up until this point, all of this, and replace it with honey. I don't actually have any honey. I'm not even sure how to get it. I know you do something with beehives. I've never messed with beehives, like, ever. I don't even know how to collect them. I know you need silk touch, but how do you get bees to be in it when you do it? Like, so once I figure that out and get some honey, then that's what I'm going to do, is kind of replace the floor, I think. And probably all of my shops and like the bookstore and the tavern and everything, and put honey behind the counters. Because I think, I could be wrong, but I think honey stops villagers from being able to go over blocks like this. So if I put honey here, they'll be trapped back here, I think, because they can't get out, because I put these trap doors here so I can go through, but they can't. I think they're bigger than I am, so I think that'll stop them. Anyway, this is what we got going on. And then back here's just their little office area behind the front desk. And then if you come over here, we have stairs that go up on each side, and they lead to the same place, but you'll go upstairs. And you come up to the second floor, which is where our hotel rooms begin. So each floor, there's 2 floors of rooms, and each of them have 4 rooms. They're all pretty much the same. They just got, you know, beds and some little like cabinetry for the guests. And like I said, all of the rooms are pretty much similar. So it's just kind of, they're small and kind of serving their purpose. Then you come up to the 3rd floor, and it's kind of the same thing. You just got 4 more rooms. Like this. And then over here, no guests beyond this point. And lore-wise, I hear a skeleton and it's driving me nuts. It's probably in the wall somewhere, because I have some dark spots like in the walls. Yeah, lore-wise, this door would be locked, but you come in, and this is where the like master of the hotel owner or whatever, lives up here in this little loft area. So this would be their living room, couch with a fireplace. They got the little breakfast nook here. A very simple kitchen for them. Then above the kitchen is their loft area where they sleep. So yeah, I hate that you can see this moss. I couldn't really cover it with anything. I can't get rid of it because that's the roof on the outside. So it's just kind of there. It just kind of looks like a big green, like, cloth tufted headboard or something is what I'm pretending it is. But yeah, so this is the Village Inn. I like it. It turned out how I wanted it to turn out for this village. I think it fits in very nicely and kind of gets the point across. So what do you guys think of our inn here, our Village Inn? I like it. And if you come over here, the reason why I wanted it to be right there, because it's so tall, I kind of wanted it to be like the focal point when you enter. Like, I don't know why, but that's just when I designed it, that's just kind of what I envisioned as it being right here. And it's slightly off center. It's not perfectly centered, and that's on purpose. Because I didn't want the entrance to be fully blocked when you enter, because this isn't going to be empty. I'm going to have like some trees, some big trees coming up here in the middle when you enter, and there's going to be a path going around the trees that branches off in all the different directions. So because of that, with that in mind, if it was perfectly centered, the trees that I'm planning on putting here would basically block the doorway from your viewpoint when you're entering and kind of cut it in half, the whole building in half. And I didn't want that. So I kind of like pushed it over a little bit when I built it. And so when I put the trees here, the trees will block like this part a little bit, but this whole area will still be visible, which is kind of what I was going for. Speaking of trees, I think it's time to wrap up this episode with a quick time lapse of me building up some of these trees that are going to surround these buildings and really start getting the foundations of what is going to eventually be a big forest put in place here. So I'm going to start some trees. I'm probably going to start here in the center, and I might, if I can get to it in this episode, I'm going to maybe dot a few around the buildings as well. But for sure going to get this big tree in. That's going to be here in the center. So let me go ahead and work on that, and I will see you guys on the other side. Alrighty guys, so we got some trees built up here at the entrance of our village. Let's go ahead and take a look. So this is what I was talking about with the big tree here in the middle. Kind of, that's why I kind of moved the inn over a bit, just so it wouldn't be completely blocked. And I like the big tree here in the middle, but I gotta be honest, I don't love it. Like I want the tree here, I love that. I just don't love this tree. Just being completely honest. The size of it's what I wanted. I don't know. It just didn't turn out quite how I wanted, but it's fine. Custom trees are very hard for me. It's something that I'm working on and will hopefully get better at as the series goes on. But I went ahead and got this in. I wanted to build maybe anywhere from 3 to 5 of trees this size here. I wanted one kind of back behind these buildings. I wanted one back behind that smaller tree there. I wanted one kind of right here. I wanted one back by the farm over there. And I was going to build all those in this episode, but this big tree, this is a lot more than I thought it would be, a lot more work. This tree alone took me, I want to say maybe 6 hours? 6 hours just for this tree. And looking at it, I don't think you would think it'd be that much. The trunk itself was fine, but placing all of those leaves took forever. Like it was a lot more work than I thought it would be to do a tree this size. I really underestimated that leaf placing, let me tell you. So I only did one big tree in this episode, which is fine. I'm gonna try to knock out 1 or 2 of these here or there. I might do them in between episodes, so I might, in a future episode, you might just see some of them pop up as I do them in between episodes. I might film them and put them in episodes. I don't know how often you guys want to see me build trees. So, but there's going to be a lot of these sprinkled around. This is like the main canopy of the forest of these big trees. And then under the big trees are the smaller trees, like the 2 I have out there, and then this one, and then this one. But yeah, so I went ahead, since I didn't have time today to build another big tree like this. I did 2 smaller ones right here. I did like a real small one and then kind of like a slightly larger, like medium-sized one. And these turned out better. I like these better than I do this one for some reason. But they didn't turn out quite like I wanted them to, but more so than the big one did. It's always raining here. But yeah, so I went ahead and did 2 smaller trees here, and I really am liking the way it's looking now that I'm starting to add in the trees, especially these smaller ones. It's really going to bring the place to life, I feel, and really make the place feel immersive, which is why I went ahead and added in some pathways. This is not going to be the final pathway design, obviously. I just went ahead and put this in just for a general idea of where the paths are going to go. I'll get to creating the actual pathways hopefully soon, next episode possibly. It requires some materials. I think I'm going to use like mud bricks or packed mud or something. I don't really even know what it's called. One of the mud things. I'm going to use that mixed in with some dirt and some other stuff. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still figuring that out. But I need to go collect some mud from the swamp in order to do that, because I don't have very much mud at all right now. But this is what I was talking about with a path going around the big tree. So this is a general idea. I'm going to have a path here. There's going to be like grass and plants and foliage here, and then the path going around and branching off. So I have a path branching there, a path branching here. And to kind of break the path up and make it a little more interesting, I decided to, instead of just having a straight path and then it branching off to those, I decided to split it here. And then here in the middle, I'm going to have, I haven't decided, I might put some of these smaller trees, maybe one here and one there, like 2 smaller trees. Or I might not put trees in the middle, and I might just put a bunch of shrubbery and stuff here. Maybe a seating area. I don't really know. I'm just going to put something in the middle. I just liked the idea of splitting the paths in 2 and putting something in the middle. So that's what I did here. And with that, that's all I got for you today, guys. This has been a lot of work. This has been a lot of building, and I've loved every second of it. This was a really fun one to work on. So I'm really excited about our village coming together. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, by all means, hit that subscribe button. I would love you forever for it. It would help me out greatly. And thank you guys so much for being here, as always. With that, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys. Bye!